wake up one morning and something feels off, heavier, quieter, more hollow. The dreams you used to chase now feel like obligations. The mirror doesn't connect. It reflects a version of you that traded time for validation, potential for survival, years for moments that never meant anything. And inside, a silent panic begins to rise. A scream you've trained yourself not to hear. This isn't the life I was supposed to live. But you smother it. Because it's easier to write the email, to laugh at the joke, to survive one more day inside a life that doesn't feel like your own. Nietzsche once said, "Your second life begins the moment you realize you only have one." Most people never realize it. They live like they're immortal. Like mistakes can be reversed. Like dreams can be postponed indefinitely. Like apologies can fix decades of absence from their own lives. You weren't taught to live. You were taught to obey, to follow roads paved by the dead, to sacrifice wonder for stability, to surrender dreams on the altar of safety. But then something happens. Something cracks the illusion. Maybe it's loss, maybe betrayal. Maybe you simply wake up and realize you don't recognize who you've become. Whatever it is, it shatters the mirror. And for the first time, you see the truth. You don't have forever. You have now. You have whatever breath is filling your lungs in this exact moment. You have this fragile, brutal, beautiful opportunity to exist fully before everything you love and everything you are disappears. And something extraordinary happens. You're no longer afraid of failure. You're afraid of wasting what's left. You stop asking for permission to be yourself. You stop apologizing for wanting more. You stop performing for applause that never mattered. Once you step outside the illusion, you realize no one's coming to save you. No perfect moment is arriving. No final warning will be given. This is it. Your life is happening. Right now. Whether you're ready or not, Nietzsche believed that life should be lived as if you had to live the exact same life. Again and again. Infinitely. Every choice, every mistake, every excuse, every second wasted. If you were forced to relive today, not just once but for eternity, would you cry in agony or speak in gratitude? This is the brutal beauty of life. It demands your full presence, without offering any guarantees. No promise of success, no assurance of love, no second chances. Only one thing is certain: it ends. And yet, most people will spend more time decorating their cages than building a life they can actually feel. But you don't have to be most people. Your second life doesn't start when you buy a new car, or change jobs, or move cities. It begins the moment you finally realize you only get one. And that truth burns so deep into your bones that you can't go back to sleep. You begin to live urgently, fiercely, gratefully. You start saying no to everything that dims you. You start saying yes to everything that sets you on fire. You love with both hands. You forgive without scarcity. You dream without permission. You stop waiting for a sign, because you realize you are the sign. Waking up was the miracle. And in that sacred realization, in that holy moment where time reveals itself, as both your fiercest enemy and your greatest teacher, you are reborn, not as someone new, but as someone who finally decided to be real. Your second life doesn't erase the pain of the first. It honors it. It thanks it for the lessons. And then it lets it go. Because you can't live while dragging corpses behind you. You have to let dead things die and move forward. Broken, imperfect, but finally alive. Because no matter how much time you think you have, the only life that matters is the one you choose to live. The world loves a dreamer, as long as the dream is small, safe, silent. Nietzsche saw it clearly. Society was never built to nurture greatness. It was built to manufacture obedience. He wrote that anyone with a why to live can endure almost any how. But what he didn't say, what's even darker, is this: most people never find their why. They live and die buried beneath everyone else's. You were born into expectations: study, work, marry, produce, consume, obey. You were handed the blueprint before you even learned to speak. And before you knew it, you had built a life. One that makes your skin crawl when you're honest. A life designed to impress people who will never live with you. You're not living, you're performing. Every decision, every sacrifice, every silenced dream, made for a panel of invisible judges. You've imagined watching your every move. You stay in jobs that erode your soul, in relationships that shrink you. You betray your curiosity, your fire, your genius, all because someone somewhere might disapprove. And the cruelest part? The people you're killing yourself to please won't even show up at your funeral. Wondering why you weren't happier? They'll barely remember your name. They'll never remember your dream. Nietzsche believed that to live fully, you must be willing to face isolation, to walk your own path, even if it means walking alone. Because greatness demands exile. Authenticity demands rebellion. The tragedy isn't that people die, it's that most never live before they do. You can feel it, can't you? The silent desperation, the silent regret, the way people laugh just a little too loud. The way their eyes don't match their words. The way they brag about promotions that cost them their peace. The way they plan vacations like prison breaks, desperate for 1 week of air, before returning to the suffocation they chose. This ... This is what Nietzsche called the dark instinct, the mindless survival of those too afraid to face the nightmare of thinking for themselves. It's safer to be accepted than to be free. It's easier to be applauded for fitting in than punished for being real. But there's a hidden cost. A soul that shrinks to belong will eventually burn from within. You can decorate your cage. You can paint it gold. You can pretend the bars are beautiful. But it's still a cage. Freedom isn't comfortable. It isn't safe. It demands that you become terrifyingly responsible for your own life. And that's the terror that keeps most people asleep. They tell themselves it's not the right time, maybe next year. I'll chase my dreams after the kids are grown. I'll start living after I retire. But time doesn't negotiate. It doesn't wait. It doesn't ask what you planned. The day you realize you have only one life is the day you either wake up or you vanish slowly inside a dream that was never yours. Nietzsche warned, if you don't confront your mortality consciously, it will confront you through regret. And regret isn't a clean wound. It feasts, it spreads, it poisons every memory of what could have been. Maybe you think you still have time to get it right. But look closer. How many years have already passed without meaning? How many days have you lived on autopilot, doing what was expected, never asking if it was what you truly wanted? You don't lose your life all at once. You lose it in small, invisible betrayals. One day here, one decision there, a postponed dream that quietly fades into the memory of who you might have been. Nietzsche didn't just offer philosophy. He offered a mirror, not to comfort you, to terrify you into motion, because fear wakes you up. You weren't meant to feel safe. You weren't meant to stay small. You were meant to break, with purpose, with clarity, with a life so honest it makes imitation unbearable. And yet the question remains, what will you do now that you know? Now that the truth has found you, the undeniable, inescapable, brutal beauty of it, you're running out of time. Will you go numb again, rationalize your stagnation, apologize for existing, or will you begin your second life, the one you were born for before fear rewrote your script? The choice isn't philosophical, it's immediate. Every second you delay is a second stolen by the grave. Every second you wait for permission is a second your soul drains. There will never be a perfect moment, never an ideal time, never a guarantee that you won't fail. There will only ever be now. And now doesn't ask politely. It demands your courage. You don't die from routine all at once. You die slowly, quietly. It doesn't hit like lightning. It builds like a cold fire. A missed opportunity here, a maybe later there. A conversation avoided, a dream you stopped chasing because it got too heavy. At first, life looks normal. Bills get paid, birthdays happen, vacations are scheduled. But underneath, something starts to smolder. You smile less. Even when everything looks fine, you feel hollow. Even surrounded by people, you wake up heavier, carrying a sadness you can't explain. It's not depression. It's not sadness. It's the slow death of a life unlived. And it doesn't scream, it whispers. At night, when the world is quiet. You could have been more. You try to drown that whisper with scrolling, with drinking, with performance, with tasks. But the noise doesn't erase it. It just delays the ache. Because regret isn't about what you did. It's about what you were too afraid to do. Nietzsche believed regret is the soul's final way of forgiving itself for wasting the miracle of existence. And that's what this is, a miracle you didn't ask for, but got anyway. You won't regret your failures. You won't regret the risks that shattered you. You'll regret the silence, the waiting, the moments you had the chance and looked away. And now here you are, not at the end, but at the edge. The edge of a truth you can't unsee. The edge of a life that's still yours, if you're willing to stop pretending you have time. How many people do you know who are already dead, even though their hearts are still beating? They exist in routines they hate. They laugh at jokes they don't find funny. They celebrate milestones they don't care about. They're biologically alive, but spiritually, they're ghosts, walking, breathing, hollow. And you feel it when you're near them, that heaviness in the air, that invisible sadness, the desperate eyes begging for distraction from the quiet horror of a life that never truly began. This is the death Nietzsche warned us about. Not the physical one, not even pain, but a life so disconnected from truth. It no longer feels like living. Every day you spend becoming what you were told to be, you feed that death a little more. You hand over another piece of your soul for comfort, for fear, for mediocrity, and the tragedy. Most people will never realize what they've lost until it's too late. Because the world teaches you to measure life in numbers, your income, your followers, your possessions, but none of that will hold your hand at 3 a.m. when the regret starts chewing through your chest. None of that will echo back the sound of your unlived dreams. Only one thing will matter then. Did you live? Did you become who you were meant to be? Or did you die a quiet death, long before your body gave out? You're not afraid of dying. You're afraid of dying without having lived, and that fear, if you're brave enough to feel it fully, can become your salvation. Because fear has two faces, the one that paralyzes you, and the one that wakes you the hell up. Most people let fear chain them to small lives, but you have another option. You can use fear as fuel. Let it light you up. Let it terrify you into motion. Let it remind you that you're out of excuses. Nietzsche believed life is for the brave, for those willing to confront the brutal truth of their mortality. And in that confrontation, you find a reason to live so fiercely that death itself becomes irrelevant. So here you are, standing at the crossroads between existing and actually being alive. You can go back to sleep, sink into the illusion, pretend you have time, pretend you're happy. Or you can choose the terror of waking up. You can choose to feel the full weight of your unlived life. Not to burn, but to forge. This pressure isn't here to crush you. It's here to turn you into something unstoppable. You don't need more time. You need more courage. You don't need more motivation. You need brutal honesty. You don't need more years. You need to stop wasting the ones you already have. Because silence collapses. The slow death of the soul through regret is preventable, but only if you choose to live. Not tomorrow, not next year, not when it's convenient. Now, the death of your first life doesn't come with a funeral. No one mourns it. There are no tears, no goodbyes. It dies quietly. The moment you realize that everything you were chasing was never yours. It dies when you stop trying to impress people who don't even know themselves. It dies when you stop apologizing for being different, difficult, real. It dies when you finally accept that the old you, the one who played small to survive, is never coming back. And in that silence, you are reborn, not into perfection, not into certainty, but into freedom. Your second life isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters, not about being faster, richer, louder. It's about being more true. You will be doubted. You will be rejected. You will lose people you thought you couldn't breathe without. But you will find yourself. And that's a trade worth making every time. The world won't applaud you for choosing yourself. It will shame you. Because every step you take toward authenticity reminds them of the ones they were too afraid to take. You'll disturb their comfort simply by existing freely. Let them be uncomfortable. You're not here to fit their mold. You're not here to make them feel better about staying small. You're here to break, to leave dents in the walls of time, to blaze through this life with a force so undeniable the world has no choice but to know you were here, really here. Nietzsche believed the greatest sin wasn't pain. It was mediocrity, a half-lived life, half-dreamed dreams, a soul asleep at its own funeral. Your second life demands the full version of you, the one who speaks truth even when their voice shakes, the one who stands alone if that's what it takes. Not the edited you, not the digestible one, the real you. The one that no longer asks to be allowed, the one that no longer sits quietly in the crowd. Living your second life won't be easy. Some days, you'll question everything. There will be days when fear is louder than hope, when it feels easier to go back to sleep. But don't forget, pain is temporary. Regret is forever. You can heal from the wounds of risk. You can't heal from the agony of never trying. Every step you take into your second life will hurt. Not because you're doing something wrong, but because you're peeling off the skin of the life that slowly killed you. You'll mourn the version of you who tolerated disrespect, who watered dead gardens, Who apologized for shining? But you'll rise anyway. Not because you're fearless, but because you finally understand that fear isn't a stop sign. It's a starting gun. If you truly knew you had 1 year left, really knew, would you still waste today playing small? Would you keep explaining your worth? Would you keep shrinking to be acceptable? Would you still wait for someone else to say it's okay to live fully? You'd live urgently, gratefully, unapologetically. You'd love the ones who set your soul on fire. You'd leave the rooms that made you forget your name. You'd chase the dreams that scare you, because those are the only ones that matter. You wouldn't waste one more heartbeat asking for permission. Your second life doesn't begin when circumstances change. Not when people change. Not when the world finally understands you. It begins when you change. When you decide, fully, fiercely, finally, that you're done surviving. That you're done just existing. You're ready to live. Even if no one claps. Even if no one follows. Even if no one understands. Because your first life was for them. This one, this second life, is for you. The question isn't, will you be afraid? You will. The question is, will you choose life anyway? Because if you don't, you'll spend the rest of your existence haunted by the ghost of the life you could have lived. But if you do, if you choose to burn brightly, even for one moment, even if it costs you everything safe and familiar, you'll die with nothing left inside you but gratitude. Gratitude that you didn't leave this world without showing who you really were. And now, some final words. Emotional closure, no theory, no noise. You have one life. A fragile, floating miracle. Stop reacting, stop waiting, stop surviving. Live. Right now, right here. No apologies, because your second life is waiting. And it begins the moment you stop pretending you have time. Before you leave, ask yourself this. If today was the only day you were guaranteed, would you still waste it pretending? If this video woke something inside you, write it in the comments. I'm ready to live my second life. Not tomorrow, not someday. Today.